and an honor to introduce Mr. Orson Welles.
Well, I'm going to make up for this character. This is padding. It's always gratifying to have to put on a few phony pounds for us, chubby tragedians. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir John Falstaff. He was, well, he was he was what you might call a swinger. In the 15th century, they didn't call them swingers, but they swung. And nobody more so than Sir John. He was a funny man. He was a fat man. But he was a great man. He was a wit. And as he said himself, he was not only witty in himself, but the cause that wit was in other men. This huge hill of fat, this ton of man, this reverend vice, this gray iniquity. He was a spokesman, you might say, for Merry England, the old Merry England of May mornings and midsummer eves, when even villainy was innocent. He had a great friend who was the Prince of Wales, who was also by way of one of the boys. But Falstaff was more than that. He was Sir John Falstaff, but among the knights, he was a knightly dropout. You might almost say that he was the great-great-grandfather of all the flower children. He was a bohemian. And he was a bum. He was a beautiful bum. He was a great expert on wine, women, and song. And what he's going to say for you now is a little tribute to wine. And matter of fact, to a particular kind of wine, sherry, which in those days was called sherry's sack. Now, sherry, as you know, or sherry's sack, was fortified and is fortified with brandy. It's strong drink, and this is Shakespeare's first and greatest of all commercials for the subject of booze. Sherry's sack. These sober-blooded boys do not love me, nor a man cannot make them laugh. And that's no marvel. They drink no wine. There's never none of these demure boys come to any proof for thin drink that so overcool their blood that they are generally fools and cowards, which some of us should be too, but for inflammation. A good sherry sack hath a twofold operation in it. It just sends me into the brain, and dries me there all the foolish and dull and cruddy vapors which environ it, makes it apprehensive, quick forgettive, full of nimble, fiery,
and delectable shapes which delivered o'er to the voice, the tongue, which is the birth, becomes excellent wit. The second property of your excellent sherris is the warming of the blood. The sherris warms it and makes it course from the inwards to the parts extreme. It illumineth the face, which is a beacon, gives warning to all the rest of this little kingdom man to arm. And then the commoners muster me all to their captain, the heart who great and puffed up with this retinue doth any deed of courage. This valor comes of sherris, and hereof comes it that Prince Harry is valiant. For the cold blood he did naturally inherit of his father. He hath like lean, sterile, and bare land manured, husbanded, and tilled with excellent endeavor of drinking good and good store of fertile sherris, that he has become very hot and valiant. If I had 1,000 sons, the first humane principle I would teach them should be this: to forswear thin potations, and to addict themselves to sack.